Hi, I'm Cheryl, and today's Halloween card is this one. So glad we're such ghoul friends. Have a spooktacular Halloween. And I'm going to show you how I did this background here. I like to make my own designer papers a lot of times. So I haven't been buying designer papers very much lately. So it's a 5x7 card. So our card base is basic black, and it's 10x7 and scored and folded at 5 inches. I have 2 pieces of garden green cardstock, and these are, let's see, I think I wrote it on the back of one of these. Oh, there it is. These are 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. Those are going to mat our front and our inside. And then I have 2 pieces of Whisper White, and I did not put the size on these. Let's see. I've got a nice little 1/8 of an inch border all around, so these are 4 by 6. Then I have some little scraps of Whisper White that will be stamping our little ghouly guys here, our little vampire and our mummy, and then our sentiment here. We'll be stamping those on there and cutting those out. And then a bit more of the basic black, and I've cut these already. These are already die cut, and those are from, let's see, Ornate Frames dies. And they're the ones that look like, let's see if I can get it off my little thing here. They look like this and this, and these are so nice. I like these. I could see myself using them not just at Halloween time. And these are the ones we're going to cut the sentiment, and this is our little ghouls out with. So I'm going to be using those. This is a cool little thing I made myself to corral my frames, and so easy to make. It's just a frame that I got, I think probably at the dollar store, and it has, I put a piece of the magnetic sheeting in here, and then over top of that I put this little saying. You can put any saying you want if you have some kind of inspirational saying that's near and dear to you. But I believe God would not have made me so creative if He wanted me to clean the house every day. And that's so true. That's so true. If I have a choice between being in my craft room and mopping the floors, guess which one I'm going to pick. So, here's the other things we're using. We're going to use Tombow glue. I've popped up my little sentiment on the front with some of the thicker craft foam that I have. If you don't have thick craft foam, you can do 2 layers of the thin craft foam. You could use a couple layers of an old cereal box or a piece of corrugated. You could use a piece of corrugated cardboard from a packing box that you've gotten your Stampin' Up order in. Whatever. Just some, or hey, you could even use foam, the little foam dots, the dimensional dots if you wanted to. But I don't use those very often. I find it much more economical to use the craft foam. So I've got the Tombow. I'm also going to use the the Art Glitter Designer Dries Clear Glue. Those are my 2 go-to glues. I've got a little sponge dauber here. There's the stamp we're using, and that was from Versailles, and it's a bunch of leaves. It's so pretty. And of course, these are the other stamps, and these are from see, the Wonderfully Wicked and Spooktacular Bash. So there's our 2 guys we're going to have on the front. and our sentiments. So glad we're such cool friends. And on the inside have a Spooktacular Halloween. And then to decorate the inside, use the little cat and this bat to jazz it up a little bit. The inks I used are Gorgeous Grape, Night of Navy, and then Garden Green. I have a couple of markers here. I have some of the Stampin' blends, the alcohol markers. Let's see, this one is the light pink Pirouette. This is the light Smokey Slate and the light Seaside Spray. And then to go with my Garden Green cardstock, I have just the plain marker. This is the Garden Green marker. That's what I like about Stampin' Up! Is that everything, you can get their stuff and everything coordinates. This coordinates with the papers and you don't have to do any filling around, you know, checking through your Copic stash or whatever markers you might have trying to find a match, because you automatically have a match. Oh, and then I also use these Nuvo glitter drops, and this is a Midnight Sky. I used those on the background here because I thought my card just needed a little something, a little sparkly on there, and I thought about ribbon, putting some ribbon on there, and I actually almost used this one, but then I figured I'd bet a nickel that none of you watching this video even have this ribbon, and I didn't have any just black satin or a black sparkly ribbon to use, so just to jazz it up a little bit, I've put just on some of the leaves. Well, you'll see. I'll show you how I did that. So let's get going on this card. What should we do first? Should we stamp the images first? Yeah, let's do that first. So I've got my little scraps here. Let me put this one aside. I'm going to stamp my two little guys here. Oh, and I also used the Memento Tuxedo Black ink. I'm using that because, well, I pretty much always use this for my black, but especially on this card because I'm going to be using the alcohol markers, and that is safe to use with the alcohol markers. I'm using my Stamparatus here. I really don't need to on this, except that I just like to stamp things 2 or even 3 times sometimes to make sure that I have a really good impression. And there's no way that you would be able to do this if you had your stamps just on a block. So, there we go. Oh, that looks good now. So those guys are ready to color and to cut out. And let's see, there's my little sentiment there. And where's my other piece of paper? There it is. And I'll just hold that on there with the magnet. And you'll notice in my Stamparatus I do have a little sheet of this very thin craft foam. I just find that I get a better impression having that in there rather than just the hard background. Okay, there's that. One more time I think we'll do it. And give me a nice... There. There we go. So we've got that done. And let's flip this over. And we'll get a piece of the 4x6 Whisper White in here. I think I have this all set up already to stamp where I want it to. Yes, I do. You see, I can set things up on the Stamparatus and just flip the leaves of it over, and I actually it comes with 2 of them, and I actually bought 2 more. So I have 8 surfaces altogether that I can use. And it just makes it so nice, well, especially for me because I do the videos, but it's nice if you're doing a large amount of the same card. Say like Christmas time is coming up. I know pretty much everybody sends Christmas cards, Halloween, of course, Thanksgiving, then we're going and getting into Valentine's Day. And if you just do a lot of cards, it's nice to have it all set up and ready to go and just do a kind of a mass-produced type of thing. So there's those. I'll take this out and put it somewhere so I clean those off. There we go. There's a good spot for it, I guess. Alright, so I'll put these and these together. Now we're gonna do our leaves and our background here. Put them aside. And I'll cover up my Memento Tuxedo Black for the moment, because we're gonna do the color in the background. This is a nice background. You can switch it up and use different colors for different occasions. Okay, so I'm starting out with my gorgeous Grape, and I'm just gonna start. I'm gonna make kind of stripey. And I'm going directly onto the paper. Normally I would go like this off the side and get things smooth and blended out, but I want a lot of color on this. If you normally when I do a blend, I would start out very light and then build the color, but I already know that I want it very dark, so that's why I'm just going in like this, and I'll just kind of clean out my brush a bit, and I'm just going to go right into the Night of Navy now. And that I am going to do off the side a little bit first, because Night of Navy is a pretty intense color. And we're just going to go in there now and fill in any white spots. So now, instead of just being a nice bright purpley color, look how it's getting kind of spooky and hazy looking. And that was the look I was going for on this. If you were doing a springtime card, you could use like pinks and peaches and maybe yellows. For a fall one, maybe more of the oranges, orangey, and even a brown mixed in there would be pretty. There, so that's kind of spooky looking, and this will lighten just a tiny bit as it dries. And now I'll use my leaf stamp and the Memento Tuxedo Black ink. I'm just going to randomly stamp these leaves all over it, and I'll be using first and second generation stamping. What that means is that's first generation, This is second generation. So it's second generation, you just don't ink it again. That's all that means. It's a fancy word. Let's see. And then those second generation ones, I even did a little third generation. I still had a bit of ink on there. But that makes the leaves look like there's leaves in the background also then. Which is nice. It's a nice effect. Let's see. I want to get some of the leaves over there. And there we go. So there's the majority of our background done. Let me just wipe this up real fast with a baby wipe. I'm working on a silicone mat here. That one's dry. I didn't have it shut real well. I'm working on a silicone mat. This is actually, you know, they sell them on Amazon. They're really meant to be baker's mats. And I do have one I use as a baker's mat. It works really nice when you're making bread or pie crust. But I found these and it's clear. And I just put this, I printed out a sheet of grid paper, graph paper, that's got 1-inch squares. And then 1/4 inch also. And I'm just loving this. I was thinking about getting some of the fancy ones, you know, like the Tim Holtz one and all, but I decided I would go with this one. I would go this direction because I had a silicone mat before and I really liked it. Okay. So now we're going to take our Nuvo glitter drops, because these will take some time to dry, and just randomly, well, I'm going to give that a squeeze off the side, make sure it's not going to spit. Okay. And just randomly, just on the tips of some leaves, I'm going to add some of that glitter. And I'm not making the dots like I normally do with this, you know. So it looks like little enamel dots. I'm just putting a little smear on there. So I'm actually putting this right down on the paper and rubbing it a little bit just on the tips of the leaves. Not all of them. That would make me crazy, I think, to do all of these leaves, but just on a good amount of them. And that looks good. That looks like I have plenty on there now. And see, it just gives it a little something extra. You could use just a plain clear, like the Nuvo drops or whatever brand you like. But I like the Nuvo drops, so I use those. Okay, so that's our background. So now, let me go off to see Mr. Big Shot. He's over across the room. He's got his own little station in my craft room. So I'll go there and I'll cut out my, cut these guys out. And we'll come back and start putting the card together. I know. Oh, we have to color those in. Oh my goodness. I only have 5 minutes too. Well, let me see here. Okay. So I'm going to take my Late Balmy Blue, and real quick I'm just going over this and just covering this. Once it's cut out, I'm going to add a little bit of garden green to the edge here. Alright, and on these I'm just going all around the background here and just flick that out. So the blue is just a little background on these guys. I'm trying to work fast here because I see I've only got about 5 minutes left. So okay, so that's that. And get our little vampire here. There. Alright, and then the mummy, I'm going to use the light smoky slate, and I'm just going to do any place I think there's a little shadow on this guy. I'm going to just put a little shadow on him. Out here. So just in between his bandages. And try to pick out places you think there might be a shadow. Makes him a little bit more fun than just a plain old white mummy. Okay, so that looks pretty good there. And our vampire, this is really quick and dirty coloring, is just putting color down. But these are, you know, it's a card, and these are like cartoonish figures, so I'm not going for realism here. I'm just wanting to put a little color on them. Alright, and then I used the garden green. I'm going to use the painterly type tip. I use the painty type tip on all of these, and I'll just color in all this little border here with the garden green. Okay, so I don't think you need me to show you how to do that. That's pretty simple. Just color it in, and I'll finish coloring that in and then cut them out, and I'll be right back. Okay, let's get this card together. First thing I'm going to do is ink the edges on this little sentiment here with my garden green ink. I'm just going to go all around the edge here. I decided to do this so that it kind of just got the green border on here. I figured this needed a little green border. Plus, a lot of times doing just a little bit of something around the edges here, whether it's with this or to make it look kind of antique-y. Like a, I don't know, like a crumb cake color or something like that. It just kind of finishes off these things, these little sentiments, makes them look a little more finished than just a raw edge on it. Okay, so we can start gluing. So I'm going to use, for these I'll use my Dries Clear, the Art Glitter Dries Clear glue. And I have my little piece of my foam here too that I've already cut out. When you cut out foam like that, it's always a good idea, after you've cut it out, always check and make sure that it's not, when you glue it on, the edges of this aren't going to show. Now I do have some black foam somewhere, but this was handier, and so that's what I chose to use. Let's get that glue going here. Oh, I need my little poker thing, I guess. It seems to be kind of jammed in there a little bit. Okay, I don't know where I got this. I think somebody sent me this as a free gift, and it is a wonderful thing for when your glue schnozzles get gunked up. Oh, we have our little mummy. Just center that on our decorative piece there. I do love my little lacy bits here. And our vampires all ready. And then we'll do this one. This glue has a nice, a fairly quick grab time. When I have big pieces like my mats and things, I use the Tombow because you can move it around for a little while. The Tombow doesn't set up quite so fast as this. Okay, so I've got that. I'll set that aside then, let that dry. And I'm going to switch to my Tombow now. Let's do the inside next. Oop. I should probably close this up or I'm going to have it gunked up again next time. Okay, so what shall I do? What shall I do? I think I will put my sheet here that has the sentiments on it. Put that down on my green first. I've got just that little bit of green around the edges. I like to do a little something on the inside of the card too, you know? And we'll center that on the inside here. There. Now we'll go to the outside of the card. And our piece of green goes down. Get that all lined up real nice. There. And this bit that we made. I left this kind of as long as I could because I wanted to make sure that the Nuvo drops that I used on the front were dry. So now we can put that down. Looking good, looking good. And we'll put our little mummy over here because he's looking that way, so we want him over on the left hand side. I'm going to come in about a ½ an inch from the top and the side here and put him down. And then we'll do the same on the other side with our cute little vampire. And he's looking that way. So it's cute. They're kind of looking at each other. It goes really nice with the sentiment that goes with this set. So glad we're such ghoul friends. And we're almost finished. This is it. This goes together so fast. There we go. And I've overlapped. You see, I've overlapped that here. That's one of the reasons I popped that up, other than to give a little dimensional interest there. But I wanted to overlap these two fellas here. So that's our card. Now, if you've liked this video today, then be sure to hit that like button down below. If you want to see more of my videos, then be sure to hit the subscribe button. And then it'll come up with a little bell icon. And if you click on that bell, what will happen is YouTube will let you know whenever I post a new video. So that's nice. If there are any Stampin' Up! Products that you'd like to purchase that I've used today, then you can do that either through my Facebook page or my website, my blog, and that information's down below and there too. And as always, I'll have all of the materials that I use listed down there also. So now, shout out to Denise. Don't worry, darling, I didn't forget you. Next week on my videos, I'll be doing a 3-dimensional project that I think you all will like. It's quite cute. So y'all take care. Stay safe. Happy Halloween and happy stamping.